Hello, 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 sellers. Come on in, come on in. It's Kathy, and I love to be selling. Well, I was just on Facebook and I saw a post, and that's what I'm going to be talking about, which is this huge reseller lie. I mean, and I've seen this on social media and I've seen it before, and I said, it's time to talk about this because I keep seeing this. So let's talk about this. So come on in, come on in. I'm going to talk about this huge reseller lie that I'm just not seeing people catch. And people are buying in. And when you buy into it, you're going to make mistakes. And that's what I want to correct. Because that's the whole point. This, I share tips and strategies that are working on eBay. How do I get sales? And things are always going to be changing. We're in a changing economy, depending on where you are in the United States. You've got different ways to source. I'm here in New York City. So one thing that works really, really well to source here in New York City is retail stores, because we have a lot of them and they have clearance sections. So sourcing in New York City, retail stores are a really, really good way to source, in addition to thrift stores, consignment stores, and things like Goodwill bins. And so the first thing I want to call out is when you see something, even from sellers that we totally love, and we all have sellers that we follow and that we love seeing their wonderful tips. And this is whether you are following people on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. This is when I spotted on Facebook, but I've seen it on YouTube and I've seen it other places, is seller posted commenting, I searched for this. So if you're new to eBay, welcome, welcome. Hi, Michael Phillips. Good to see you. Thank you for joining me live. And thank you, everybody. Those of you who follow me on Facebook, my business page, I love to be selling. Thank you. Thank you. I've got well over 4,000 followers now. I certainly appreciate you liking and following my page. Those of you who catch me on YouTube, thank you. Well over, I think it's 8,000 subscribers. I haven't checked the past couple weeks. So thank you for those of you who click the subscribe button and subscribe. And those of you who follow me from my podcast listening, again, Kathy Terrell, I love to be selling podcast wherever you download it. Thank you. It is much appreciated. So I'll see this. I've seen it on Facebook and I've seen it on YouTube. And the person will post, I did yada, yada. And this person posted, I searched, and it was a big brand. It was a big brand name. I searched this brand, this pattern, and there was no comparables on eBay. And so there must be something wrong with eBay search. And those of you that don't know, when you search on eBay, whether you're using desktop or mobile, you can do a search. So for instance, like I'm wearing a pink, if I remember correctly, this is Under Armour, women's pink Under Armour shirt. And then you can click solds. And the reason why it's usually more helpful to click sold rather than completed, completed. Yes, completed. You actually want to click completed because you'll see what's sold and what didn't sold. If you click sold, you're only going to see what's sold. And the reason why it's helpful to click completed is you see, for instance, a lot completed, but only a few sold. And when they sell, you'll see it in green. Okay. And this is true whether you're looking on the app or whether you're looking on desktop. So what the seller was claiming was that they had searched for this large brand and type of item, and there was no comparable to what they were putting up there. And I'm going to pick something, LL Bean, one of my favorites because my husband loves Bean, LL Bean flannel shirt. And it just sounded really suspicious because it was a really large brand. Again, like Under Armour, Nike, LL Bean. And it was something pretty common too, like plaid or blue or red. Again, it was a common search. If you're searching something unusual, like a very unusual vintage item, Michael's listening and he's a wonderful antique seller, a very unusual type of artwork or figurine, there is a good chance that there's not anything comparable in completed because it is a very unusual item. And then that's the kind of thing where you're going to need to dig deeper and do some more extensive research. Oftentimes a tool like WorthPoint, a friend of mine owns Will. WorthPoint can be helpful for something like that. Hi, Melissa. Good to see you. So again, if it's a highly unusual item, there's a good chance that you won't see something completed again because it is so unusual. And then you go and do more extensive research. And this is the thing that can be challenging when you're searching things that are handcrafted, artisan, antique, whatever. But this was a big brand, modern style item where, you know, if it's Nike, Under Armour, women's pink shirt, there should be some comparables. So I was immediately suspicious. So this is number one. And if you're new to eBay, I totally get it. You just may not be aware. It's like, Kathy, but I don't know, you know, if this is a popular item or not. So that's good. You just keep hanging out. But even when you're new and you're not sure, like you go, go and check it for yourself. This is the first thing I always say to people. When people are offering information, for instance, like the person that claimed there was no completed, is ask what they searched. And they actually put what they searched. So then I go and search. Like, okay, if I'm doing this search on desktop, and sometimes things are different on desktop and mobile. So that's another thing. What did you search? Where did you search it? Did you search it on Google? Did you search it on eBay? Did you search it on another site? Maybe you were over on Amazon or Walmart and you were checking comparable, which is not a bad idea when things are barcoded, to check what the price is on other websites. If I'm selling something really vintage or artisan, handcrafted, I might go and check Etsy because there's a lot of artisan products there. Okay. So first thing is, what did you search? And I want the exact terms that you used. Where did you search it? And if it's eBay, and we'll just use eBay, did they search completed or sold? Because again, completed is going to give you a wider range. Sold will only let you know if that exact thing sold or not. Okay. So I went and I searched. They said there was nothing comparable. There was tons that were comparable. So one, they could have had a glitch. This happens. I know this shocks everybody. Yes, there are glitches occasionally on eBay and other sites. And the other thing, and I would like to give the seller the benefit of the doubt, it's not somebody I know personally. When it is somebody that I know personally, so let's say like Michael's a friend. And if Michael posted something like that, then I would message him and just say, hey, you know, I did look and this is the results that I got. I personally don't call people out publicly. I don't see the reason for that. So I'll just message them and say, hey, you know, when I searched or I saw, this is what I saw. Because that's the way I am. It's like, I'm here to help you. So check the truthfulness of the post. And I always personally give the person a benefit of the doubt. I always like to think, oh, they're not just saying this to stir the pot or to get attention or whatever. I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt. Now, when it is somebody who's like a big YouTuber or a media person, if you're not aware of this, when you have a YouTube channel, I'm sure you can do it on TikTok. I just don't. I just post content on TikTok, but particularly on YouTube. If you have a YouTube channel and if you have a certain amount of followers and if you post regularly, you're paid by YouTube for your content. And the way you're paid is by how long people are watching your videos. So if you're saying very provocative things, sadly, the more provocative you get, it's sort of like the rubbernecking delay when you're driving, right? Everybody, if you see an accident, all of a sudden the traffic slows down. Even if thankfully everything's cleared out and everything's fine, everybody sort of wants to see, you know, what's going on. It is part of human nature, I think. But sadly, the people that tend to be the most negative and the most what I call the sky is falling types, sadly, are the ones that get the most attention. So when people post something like, this never sells, or I can't find any comparables, you know, anything along that line. And if it is a category that you sell in, or if it is something that you're interested in, I was just listening to somebody, I think it was in electronics, and I don't sell a lot of electronics, so I just sort of let it go in one ear and out the other. But they said, for instance, a year ago, this item, it was something like an Alexa. It sold very well and they made X amount of money and it had a great sell-through rate. Only now, because they had just found one, and I've made this mistake, and they didn't check the solds because they had sold it a year ago very quickly for good money. And now the sell-through rate, which is how quickly it sells, has dropped dramatically. So yes, they're going to make money from it, but it's going to take them much longer than a year ago to sell it. So that's a great brand. I have fallen into that. I'll come across like a favorite brand. DKNY was one that I made a lot of money with a few years back. and let's say I have a weakness for this brand or this style. We all have things that we have weaknesses for. And we pick it up without researching because we have that emotional pull for the item. And then you get it home. And also maybe because we made a great amount of money selling something similar to this 2 or 3 years ago, and we don't research comparables right then and there. And we get it home and we find out that the bottom has dropped out of this certain kind of item. It's like, oh. So even if you sold it very well 6 months ago, 3 months ago, the market can change so fast. This is part of the fun of the internet. And it can change up, which is great, like something you only did okay with. That's why don't pass it by like, oh, I did nothing with that a year ago. Yeah, but it might have changed. So it's always worth it to go and check those completed. So that's the big, big lie, is when people put things up and they're very declarative about it and saying, oh, I searched this and nothing was there. Again, and to the benefit of the doubt, they might have made a mistake. Just go and check it for yourself. Okay. Then I was listening to some other folks about sales go up, sales go down. And you have to stay on top on what is trending, what is selling, because what you're looking for with vintage items, more antique items, more unique items, typically they're more what's called long tail, which they can take longer to sell. Unless something is really on trend, very popular, or yours is really unique. And this can happen. Yours is very unique. And maybe you have somebody that's been looking for that, for 2 years, 3 years. You list it and bam, you'll get a sale almost immediately. You're like, wow. And the reason for that, in case you don't know this, because I do this on eBay, is you'll search, let's say, and I'm actually going to show you something with terap, but let's say you really want a green glass figurine of and pick like an unusual bird, or maybe I'm going to pick Thanksgiving turkey just because now we're into January and we just got through the holidays. And maybe there is a green glass turkey. And this is something you really want. It might be a childhood memory. And it's unusual. I have no idea if there's any green glass turkeys on eBay right now. But let's say this is something you're looking for and there aren't any. You haven't been able to find any. When you go on eBay, you can save searches. And I do this for things that I'm researching or things that I am looking for myself. You can save the search. And the great thing about doing that is then when that item is listed, green glass turkey, eBay will send you a notification. This just got listed. Come and take a look. And then you come and take a look. And that's why sometimes, even when things are very, very unique and you can't find any completed, any solds, and you do your best research, you pick your best price and you list it. The reason it sells so fast is that there's a wonderful buyer out there that has saved that search and they get the notification, they come in and buy it. So just to give you a tip on that, that can be why the sale comes through so fast sometimes when you list things. So what I wanted to do was help, because again, sometimes on YouTube, in fact, a lot of people on YouTube show hauls. So they're at the bins, they're at the thrift stores, they're at consignment stores, estate sales, wherever, and they're going up and down with their cart, or they've got their basket over their handle, however it is, and they're shopping, and they're pulling things off the shelf and they're showing them to you. I see this on TikTok a lot. And they're showing you items like, oh, get this. So this is another reseller lie, and be careful with this one because you can really lose money. And I was watching this one seller, and she was picking up little ceramic figurines of animals and saying, oh, this is so cute. I'm going to grab this. It's only $1. I'll be able to flip this for $6 or $7. And I'm thinking, you're spending $1. You're going to sell it for $6, $7, $8. You've got to take a picture. You got to do some research on keywords, even if you're listing really, really fast, but you got to take pictures. You got to do some research on keywords and you got to list it. And I'm going to go minimum, even if you're incredibly fast. What do you think? 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes? You know what I mean? So 20 minutes of your time, let's say 15 minutes. Let's say you're an incredibly fast, picture taker, snapper, lister. That's 15 minutes of your time to make like $3 or $4. I'm going, so for myself, if something's been listed forever, and you're just like, oh, this thing's been here for like 3 years and I really need to get rid of it. or maybe get an offer on something. This will happen to me. You know, I've had the thing up, you know, for 2 years or 3 years, and I haven't done a recent revision on it. And it'll come in and I will get my money back. So let's say I paid $5 or $10 for it. I'll get my money back and I'll make $8, $9, $10. If it's been up forever, I will take it. And the reason I will take it is because I'm making a profit. I'm getting it sold and I'm getting cash back in my pocket. So if you have had something forever, and I was watching another seller comment on this too, and they do the same thing, is if it's been there forever, and forever is different for all of us. Some of us forever is a year, some it's 2 years, some it's 3 years, right? Sell it, make the money, because then it's cash back in your pocket where you can make wiser choices on inventory. Or the trend changed. It was hot when you got it. You went a little high. You got some offers, but you felt like you were going to get that price and you haven't. And it's been there a long time. Take the money and run. So, and that's the other thing, a couple of dollars on a new purchase and you're going to do the research. I got painful just listening. I just went, that's not my business model. And we're all different. Some of us are looking to double our money. Some of us, you're looking for 30% increase, 40, you know, in your mind, think about what you're looking for and consider the time it takes for you to create a listing. Now, if you're selling things from around the house, you're saving things from the landfill, and I've done this, and I'm only going to make maybe $4 or $5 from the item, or $6 or $7, but I'm fine about it because I'm selling a personal item that is from my home that I am done with, that I don't have a friend or a family member to give it to. And it's not going to go to the thrift store. It might be as a donation, but I'm going to list it so it can find a new home and I make a few dollars. And I'll do that sometimes with items that are lower ticket from our home because it has great keywords. It's a Disney, it's an Under Armour, it's a Nike. It's something that is very, very, very searched and will help to bring traffic to all of my listings because it's something that's really, really, really searched. I'll do that sometimes with shopping bags. Shopping bags can be a great one to sell. So you're on YouTube or TikTok and you're following people that you love and you see them talking about certain items and you're being smart and you're writing it down or you're screenshotting it, however you capture information. And then you are going on eBay or Poshmark, wherever you sell, and you are checking solds. Does this item, it's not that we don't love our fellow YouTubers and TikTokers, does this really sell for what they say it's selling? And sometimes people will put up prices and the prices from 3 years ago. So is it selling for this now? Great example. We all remember this from the pandemic. Toilet paper was like crazy, right? Sanitizer, a lot of these things. So again, we're not knocking anybody. Is it selling for that price now? Okay. That's what you want to be checking. So the next thing is you're following your wonderful friends that are on YouTube and TikTok. And again, it could be in a Facebook group, someone posts something and you go, and I picked green glass. Okay. Just very generic. I want to show you something about this. So let's say you go into your local thrift shops and consignment stores or your favorite YouTuber, and they're talking a lot about green glass or animal figurines or something. So this is what I want to show you. And this is free. Everybody has terap. That's eBay seller. If you're not aware of this, because years ago it was paid. It was a wonderful tool. I actually had it and paid for it. So when eBay made it free to us, it was like, yay, this is great. So you're going to go onto your eBay Seller Hub. And what you're going to look for is research. And then underneath research, what you're looking for is research products. And you can, this is fun. And this is also sort of a rabbit hole. So keep your clock. Any of you who know me know that I keep my little clock. It's on my computer, but I have it here too to remind me because like all day can go by. But let's say you've seen a lot of really cool green glass, or maybe you have some green glass, or your favorite YouTuber is talking about green glass. So again, let's go and check for ourselves. And this only takes a minute. Okay. So green glass. And the reason you want to search 90 days is when you search 90 days, you get a sell-through rate. And I'm going to click this little pill. If you're not aware of this, eBay has these little pills, and it tells you what it is, the percentage of similar items that sold. And let me just show you this. Let's do last 30 days. And let me see if it'll do this. Is it showing? Is it showing last 30? Let's hope so. Hang on, let me just take a look. 30. It is good, great. See, it still shows sell-through rate. Now, let me just show you if you go over 90. So let's do last 6 months. It won't do sell-through rate. You only get sell-through rate if it's 90 days or less. Now, obviously, you do want to look at this graph, which I happen to really love this little graph. This is show sales trends. You can turn it off. You can turn it on. I like it on, but you can play around and see what you like. Because what this shows you is, was there any big change? And the great thing is it shows you this is a pretty steady seller, but this is a very broad search. So green glass seems to sell pretty well. There's no big up. We had this little spike over here. So we look at this, like, what was this spike? But let's just do last 90, back to last 90, because we want to get the sell-through rate. Now, 30%, if you're not aware of this, this is a great sell-through rate. This is really good. You'll do some searches and it's like a 2% sell-through rate. So it's like, wow, this is fabulous. So then you scroll down, you go, okay, maybe this YouTuber is smart. And then you take a look at this. A 1 cent auction? I don't want to run a 1 cent auction. It's like, no. So if you don't know this, back to therapy. Look at this average sold price. Okay, see this little, there's like a little inverted V. Click it. It's going to default to the least expensive. We're not interested in that. Let's click it the other way. And this is what's fat. Now, obviously, wouldn't it be great if we found a, oh, look at this. It's a Rolex with a green glass. It's got a green glass dial. Aha. So then you go up here and you look at categories. And maybe we want to filter down to decorative, say that one fast, collectibles, pottery, glassware. But isn't that nice to know that Rolexes sell so well? But you can scroll down here and you start to look at, okay, Swarovski. There's this Koa eyepiece. Interesting. And you get some really interesting stuff. Keep going. Viking uranium glass. I'd write that down. So I'd start to look at what does Viking uranium look like. Uranium glass Vaseline. So I want to start looking at green glass Vaseline Fenton. Okay. And start scrolling. I mean, some of these numbers are crazy, right? This 2,500, 2,300. And you're also looking at the format. We got fixed price and auction. If you're not aware of this up here with these filters, I can do dollar amount. I can also do format. Look at this. So of this 24,659 were in auction. 28,000 was best offer with 161. So the vast majority were fixed price. But you can filter through this, and that's what you're looking for. So when you're outsourcing, and this can be fun, especially if you do it in categories you don't normally shop in. So when you're out, if you see a lot of figurines, or if you see a lot of vases, or if you see a lot of a certain color or a certain style, or if you're running around YouTube or TikTok and they're talking a lot about whatever, is make notes. Like green glass was one. And then you come back and you research it and start like stuff like the Fenton, the Rolex, that's like a no-brainer, right? And you start to go, okay, that's what I'm interested in. And I do encourage you to sort by highest first because you're interested in what sold for the most money, right? If you want to look at the lowest, you can look at the lowest too. It would be a little depressing. But you'll get ideas. And again, 90 days or less because you're looking for sell-through rate. How fast does this sell? And see here, see that wonderful sales trend data? It lets me know this is a steady seller. Now, nothing wrong with the things that spike, but if you see big spikes up and down, if you see seasonal trends, then you're going to want to pay attention to that because then maybe I buy now because the price is low. But what sales trends tells me is that the price really picks up going into summer or vice versa. Okay. And one more quick thing I wanted to show you on this for my friends that go, Kathy, I don't sell green glass. But I'm saying is you can put anything in here. But I picked, for instance, like clothing, because clothing can be a tough one for people. And one thing that can be fun is look for more trendy stuff. And I was off on Anthropology. Anthropology is a great site to look at because of all their brands. And one of their brands is Maeve shirt. Okay. So I said, well, let me just search the Maeve because not everything Anthropology sells. And back to my friends here on Terapeak. And this is pretty good for clothing. A lot of clothing, if you're not aware of this, because I was checking, is around a 2 or 3% sell-through rate. This is 15% for Maeve. So then I go, Maeve sells well. And again, you go through, check sizes. It was a lot of smalls and a lot of mediums, okay? And then I would go on the Anthropology site so I get familiar with what Maeve looks like. And then I can keep my eye out for Maeve when I'm out sourcing. So again, if I was to come across a brand like that, then I could come over here and check solds. Terapeak's on desktop, you guys. It's not on the app. So then I would come over on the desktop and take a look at it. But you can use this for a lot of different categories, a lot of different styles. It will also show you, you can filter by the selling categories, because like with green glass, there's vases, there's bowls, there's a lot of different things. But consider that, okay? So we love our YouTube and our social media friends. But when people are sharing things like this, like I searched for this and there was no comparables. What was the search? And again, sometimes they're just missing a really important keyword, okay? Because eBay only knows what you tell them. eBay's not your mind reader. What was your search? Did they look for completeds and solds? And were they searching app or desktop? Because sometimes there can be a difference in how people are searching, okay? And when people are making recommendations on YouTube and TikTok and other places, and somebody's saying, oh, this was only, because this is the thing that can get us, oh, it's only $1. I've made this mistake. And they go, oh, this is so cute. It's only $1. And then I know I can sell it for like $7 or $8 is bing, 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 bing. Alarms start to go off. Go, wait a minute. Do your math. Which is sometimes why when people say, oh, this is $20, but they can sell it for $100, $150. Okay. So yes, I'm having to pay 20 or 30 or 40. But what is the sale price? And how do I know? Because I've gone on and I've done the research and I'm checking the sell-through rate. Okay. So something can be $1 and not be a wise buy. And something can be $50 and be a very wise buy because of ultimately how much money you're going to make. Okay. And only making a few dollars when you're sourcing, perhaps not the wisest choice, but when it is your personal items and you're saving things from the landfill and it might have great keywords, which can help you to bring more traffic. It's actually a great way to get traffic. Thumbs up, right? Because we're saving things from the landfill. You're making a few dollars and you're helping an item find a new home. So you're sourcing great inventory and you can have great inventory. And it's one of the things you'll find going through the solds, but you're missing keywords. Or for instance, like with that formatting thing, when we were looking at green glass, the fixed price with best offer seem to have the best sell-through rate. So sometimes it's the formats and things that we're choosing. And I've got some tips for you along those lines. It's eBay listings that sell, and you're going to find it on my website. I love to be selling. It's completely free. So do grab this eBay listings that sell guide. It goes through things like the format, your keywords, but I give you a couple of really great tips that are very, very, very doable, that don't take a lot of time, like researching there with Terapeak. And they can get you more money for your listings because, again, you're sourcing the great inventory, but sometimes just that one or two little things that you missed in the listing is costing you good money, and it's costing you to get the item sold. Okay. Hi, Sharon. Cindy. Great. Okay. Michael saying, what's better to search on eBay, Advanced or Terapeak? Michael, if you're out and you're doing fast research, Advanced search is always your best bet for super fast research. Like I just want to get a snapshot of what's going on. When I want to go more in depth, Terapeak is always best because it's got so many filters and options. Particularly, you're looking at the sell-through rate, but it does take a little more time. And you do have to watch your time because you can spend all day in Terapeak. So again, be very targeted with what you're looking for But the other thing that's good with therapy, if you're learning a category or expanding your knowledge of a category, it has a lot of great information available. Oh, you're welcome, Melissa. Hi, Vixen Archives. With the YouTubers moving, you can tell I'm having a hard time talking today, with reselling, I've noticed newer sellers fall into the trap that you have to make video content that teaches people to resell. The content usually is from hearsay and not by their own success and experience. The great thing, it is a good point, Vixen, is it's always, and I will do a YouTube on this, is think about what is the point if I'm creating a video or a social media post, is if I'm a seller, I want to attract my buyers. It's like, I am here to sell. I'll pick Michael, who sells wonderful antiques and collectibles. And I've seen his social media, and he is a member of my membership group, but he puts out images of what he's selling. Here, come, and he has, and he's in some pop-up locations, antique malls. Here's this item at this mall. This mall has this sale this weekend. Melissa's a wonderful felt artisan. Here's this wonderful new gnome I've created. Or here's a gnome from the past. You're showcasing what you're selling. And that's what I encourage sellers to do with your social media, is you're showcasing what you're selling. When you do things like the haul videos or whatever, or tips, it's a different persona. You're speaking to your fellow sellers, which is great. And I've seen this recommended by other social media folks, and I'm going to agree, is you want to remember, who are you talking to? If you want to develop a following, if you want to share tips, then you should have a channel for that. But if you're looking to attract your buyers, then that's what you want to be speaking to. Here, like with the eBay listings that sell. The guide is to help you format your listings so that it attracts your buyers. That's who you're after. It's like, I'm after my buyers. I am listing my product to be found and to be discovered by my buyers. And that's what our focus is on as sellers. It's yes, to be friendly with our fellow sellers, and we love our fellow sellers. And some of us buy from each other, which is great. But always when I'm doing my social media, I'm there to attract my buyers. And with the sourcing, using the eBay listings guide to help you with your formatting your listings, that's the thing with my listings. Remember the wonderful eBay adage? I know you've heard it. Think like a buyer. And that's why my guide's going to help you eBay listings that sell. And also when you're sourcing inventory, I want to source things that people want to buy. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Thank you so much, Michael and Benita and Dale and Sharon and Melissa. I appreciate it. And Rick, thank you so much for joining me live. I so appreciate it. Bye-bye, everybody.